Manchester City lost again. So
Hmm.
yeah, there are not a lot of weeks I get to say this, but yeah, what went down wrong for Liverpool? We discussed it. We are going to talk about it, but yeah, let me say that out once again. Manchester City lost again. Anyway, guys. So
भाई
Vatsal, Roshan,
पांच
welcome to the show.
5 साल में
Yeah,
पहली बार वो लोग बैक टू बैक हारे हैं.
2018. I read it
हाँ,
somewhere.
Yeah,
2018 was last time they lost.
absolutely. So, Vatsal bhai, I'll come to you first before we, skew our conversation towards cricket. क्या लगा मैच को देख के? Like, what are the initial reactions after watching the match?
See, I guess let's get some facts out before we begin.
Like the Rafa Benitez jibe, facts, fact, fact, fact.
Fact, yeah. Fact number one. It would be I would be lying if I had said कि मैंने पूरा मैच ध्यान से देखा है. My focus was more on what's happening in Chennai after we were 2 for 3 and those flashbacks of 2019 were coming in my mind. But
Yeah,
देखा I was like pretty how shall I put it? There were moments where we could have done better. Like the first Brighton goal was kind of avoidable. Even their
and,
second goal was from their set piece was kind of avoidable if we had done well. But on the other hand, attack looked really menacing. Salah looked like he has not lost his prime at all. He was hard carrying our attack that day, and then that of course we'll be talking about it in much detail. But that Ryan Gravenberch miss,
yeah,
which was really sad to see because
I
in
It
know.
it
games
is
you
very difficult, to be honest, when the ball is coming to you at that pace and then
pace,
you are
yes,
also running towards the ball. Na? So it is
but
difficult.
then
Like you try to be as silky with your touch, but कभी कभी वो ankle पे लग के shin पे लग के चला जाता है. So it's not.
Roshan bhai, do you think we missed Jota and Gakpo?
Yeah, a little bit. The reason I say that, I mean, the first thing that we made a mistake was we let Harvey Elliott out. Like we started with Harvey Elliott in midfield. So
yeah,
I think that was the reason why we had a very sluggish start. Because
yes,
to be honest,
Hmm.
I was like, the number 19 gone. It there's a dikha nahi. And then I was like, oh, chahi to Harvey Elliott hai. Because he was not there. Like his impact was zero. I couldn't see much
I
from
guess
him.
I guess
Ball progression भी नहीं था, pressing भी नहीं थी. He wasn't recovering the ball, so he got basically bullied by the
but but yeah,
midfield.
to be honest, the only good contribution Harvey Elliott
Was
did
leaving
was
the ball for
leaving
Salah.
that
Yeah,
ball for Mo Salah.
Yeah,
That
first
that
Salah,
I
yeah.
agree. Nee,
that
so
I
required
think
I think
RB
something
Elliott brings a lot of creativity, don't you think? Like I know इस वाले
he
मैच में नहीं
does.
चला, but he was starting after a long time. Like रोशन भाई
Right, right,
आपको ये
right.
लगता है?
Yeah, no. So the reason I say that it was a wrong decision is because it basically we didn't have any tempo from the start. Like let's say if you bring Harvey Elliott in 60 minutes and then you're trailing, you need some more creativity, then you put him there. I felt like
Hmm.
starting him was a weird decision because
Yeah,
generally initially you want all of that midfield overload to work out for you, get that first goal in first 20-30 minutes, and then you can
and
put Brighton
after
under pressure.
and after
So,
what we saw from Ryan Gravenberch in the Europa League against that Czech
exactly.
club, which I'm not going to try and
yeah,
pronounce embarrass myself. Uh, but that performance, I think, did warrant a start, his first Premier League start. But
yeah.
apparently, Klopp doesn't like
Throw everybody
throw
that quickly.
everybody at
Yeah,
once.
I
Like
think the reason he played was because Harvey Elliott didn't play the Europa match, right? Like he didn't start the match,
no, yeah,
and so I think it is just mostly a problem of squad rotation at this point, where he's like, if I have to manage Europe.
Don't you think it's like familiarity, Vatsal, with the match? Because of Harvey Elliott has been playing for the club for quite some time. Last season he was very regular. So do you think that was one of the reasons?
sorry, I was reading Dwaipayan's message. Can you just repeat the question again? Sorry.
Strictly going by outfits, I know who's most likely to follow India's match tomorrow among the. We'll come to cricket, though. We'll come to cricket. I think this whole
I,
the
I'm
point
a
of this YouTube live is cricket only.
I'm a
And yeah,
SpongeBob
Bakhar
fan.
bhai and Roshan bhai is definitely cheering for SpongeBob tomorrow. But
Bikini bottom rock.
Vatsal bhai,
Huh.
yeah. So
Sorry.
do you think that familiarity was the reason कि Klopp ने Elliott से start किया?
I guess so, because if you see on the grand scheme of things, familiarity was kind of necessary, because the thing is Brighton has become such a menace to top six clubs. Like, they are the disruptors in this league for the past couple of seasons. So I felt like, away match, and plus against a good midfield themselves who can outrun us on their given day. I think that could have been a reason, but then uh, I feel like but I still personally feel like Gravenberch should have been a starter, because अगर ऐसी मैचेस में आप उनको उतारेंगे नहीं, then yes, sooner or later he is going to participate in such matches. There is no denying that.
Right.
But I want to see McAllister, Szoboszlai, and Gravenberch together. But I take your point that familiarity hai, and apart from that, he's also was Curtis Jones injured or?
No,
Red card.
red card, bro.
Oh yeah, of course. How
Yeah.
उसकी तो बात ही नहीं करनी मेरे को. हाँ, but yeah. So I feel
So
like
right, अगर Curtis Jones का red card नहीं आता था, he would have started instead of.
but
Yeah,
and he
definitely.
warrants a start. He has been good this season.
Hmm. I think he was very good at the end of last season also. I think he
Yeah.
wanted the form he has shown has been impeccable at times,
Yeah.
especially
I
with
think-
holding the ball.
And I think with Brighton, more than creativity, you need good defensively good players, because they attack, right? So you can always counter them. So like
But
people
then-
like Harvey Elliott are much nicer. Let's say if there are teams that are sitting a little bit more, so a ball carrier, thought about trickery, thought about finesse and shooting, all of those things works out well. I think that's. I don't doubt it is not Harvey Elliott's fault. It is just I
Yeah.
did not feel like he was the right person to be
Same.
starting at that point.
Same.
Interesting
Let's say-
question interesting
let's say-
point you raised, Roshan bhai. I'll interrupt you here once because
Yeah, sure.
social media पे there has been a lot of flack when it comes to Luis Diaz. And like we have all been seeing it. What are your opinions on that? Because personally, like before you answer this question, I think it's not required. It's very unrequited considering उसने टॉटनहम वाले मैच में वो गोल उसका काउंट हो गया होता. Things would have been very different.
Ah,
So, what are your reactions on it? What do you think about the flag he is receiving on social media about his end product?
I think Luis Diaz is doing what he's supposed to do. Simple as that. Just people are giving him flack for. They should actually direct it to Robertson a little bit more, because he has been a little brain faded. He looks a little out of sorts, and Luis Diaz's responsibility is to be attacking. Like, okay, every player in the team has to defend, but then the reason Robertson is the best left back, or has been the best left back, because he covers more. So he gives more
Right.
opportunity for the wingers to be involved in the
But
final third. So
Anukarsh. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Roshan.
No, I'm just saying that in final third, Luis Diaz is doing absolutely fine. He's doing what he's supposed to do as a winger to cut in. He will take 10 shots, 3 will go in, and those will be the important goals.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything wrong with any player doing, apart from Harvey Elliott being out of place, and also Robertson not
Right.
having a great game. Apart from that, it was a Liverpool performance I would be happy with.
Fair enough. Vatsal, you had to say something?
Yeah, like Anukarsh, I just wanted to add on this Luis Diaz thing is that we assume, like we always say, like I have always said, and I guess you all agree with the fact is that right wing is Salah's, and he is not going to lose that position. So for the remaining two places, they have Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo,
Jota,
and
Jota.
Nunes.
Yeah.
And all four of them are so different to each other that if Luis Diaz is able to do X, he's not able to do Y. And if Jota is able to do that Y thing, then Luis Diaz is not able to do that X thing. So the thing is, we are spoiled for choices. And like I just when Roshan was talking, I briefly checked Luis Diaz's stats this season: 10 appearances, 3 goals. A goal every 3 games is not that bad. Oh, my mom is calling me, so sorry. But yeah. But yeah, apart from that, I guess Luis Diaz, as I said, I was checking his stats: 10 appearances, and how many of them? 8. I think he's played in all 8 matches, and he started 7. So which means that Klopp himself sees Luis Diaz as a first choice left winger.
Right.
I mean, he's the only first choice left winger because
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Jota
I
was
think the
not.
goals could have been more. Like he would have had one or
yeah,
two more goals if like there's some situations would have been
And
better or like
and if
And
you
I
see,
just feel
people
that
have made
the
good saves also. Like he has
yeah
been shooting on target. So
yeah
obviously, barring, let's say, like that's what a player has to do is keep shooting at the target, and you wait for the keeper to make that mistake and miss it. So he's doing his job
absolutely
perfectly. Yeah.
and
absolutely
I like the way that he's not someone who is like a Salah who will take attacking
Mm.
responsibilities on his shoulder. He's someone who is going to aid attack. And
Mm.
people like these who are selfless and who aid other players are often seen, are not given the limelight that they deserve.
Arey,
If
take
you
Roberto Firmino. How
exactly, we
many
have the
people?
best.
Talking about selfless, how impressed were you guys with Nunez in this match? Because I think he was very selfless and,
Yeah.
that assist with Salah and also with a few
Yeah.
chances here and there. So, how impressed were you guys with Darwin Nunez in this match when it came to the selfless side of his game?
That is what he's supposed to be doing. I think his role is to keep running behind the defenders so that they get pulled towards him, and then wingers have more chance to cut in and score. I think that's what his role is. And then
Yes.
occasional, when the ball comes to him, he's supposed to convert it. But I think, yeah, his role is to run, and he's running, and he's doing that perfectly also. So yeah, five attackers hai, everybody, like considering everybody will get a chance, your stats will be divided among five people at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Let's say if we had
Okay.
only three people for the three positions and no backups for them, then you will see more goals from them. Like that is just simple math and statistics.
Mathematics,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. So
By the way,
I
Anukarsh, I'll be back in a minute. My mom is wanting, like, has something.
Sure, sure. No worries, no worries, no worries.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Okay. Roshan bhai, I'll come to you here. So, about Brighton for that matter, how impressed were you by their new midfielder Baleba? Who, if I'm pronouncing the name right, and of course, like Brighton, they always find a way with the new players that come in, JP for that matter, like some really good players, and like I think Brighton came back well in the second half.
hmm.
So, how impressed by you were you by Brighton in the second half?
Yeah, I mean they. I'm not sure what happened against Aston Villa, so why that happened. But if you take that match away, I think they've performed consistently well.
Hmm.
Uh, People do talk about the De Zerbi's record is a little worse than Unai Emery, but again, like who cares about those stats unless like team is playing really good free flowing football? People would look at it. So I think they are a top six team for sure,
Right.
and so we would have to take it like that. ये match हमें भी ऐसे ही देखना पड़ेगा. And Liverpool is still a transitioning team. We haven't clicked yet.
Right.
So in that sense, a 2-2 draw is fine. I can say maybe, yeah. I mean, to be honest, game could have been changed if Pascal Gross got a red card because that is the last man
Yeah.
standing, and so
I think some decisions will always be contentious when
no,
it comes to
that's
the
what
game,
I'm
right?
saying. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that was more clear cut in terms of like written rules say that, like, I mean, clearly he pulled his shirt. Soboslai was, even though he was falling down, he would have been still able to kick the ball with his left foot, or at least attempted to kick.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. That's the only thing I feel like did not go for us. But apart from that, we conceded two goals because of our own mistakes. Two
I think
way,
some matches will go like that,
yeah,
isn't it?
no,
Like,
absolutely, yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying. Again, the other thing is the bigger question that arises now is like if Brighton can expose our number six problem, there are
yeah,
other better teams we are going to play. So what will happen then? Because clearly McAllister hates playing deep, or he doesn't have that positional sense. Like he can manage, but it's not his position. He's supposed to be in front, and feels like Gravenberch is also someone who likes to be behind the strikers. So it's a little
yeah,
weird that we have these mix of players where the positions clash a little bit because Gakpo is also the same kind of player where he likes to play behind the striker or striker himself. So we need to fix that number 6 position maybe come January, but we really need to think about it. I think that was another big thing that we missed was a good number 6.
I think
Clearly.
Stefan Bajcetic, when he comes back in,
Mm.
things might be better.
A
But
little
yeah, I
bit.
had come to cricket here because I had promised Vatsal that we would obviously be discussing
But
cricket
no,
also
but
a
we
bit.
can talk about football first.
Like we have spent the last 15 minutes talking about it. Maybe we can spend the last 10 minutes of the show talking about cricket. So Vatsal bhai, even I was watching the match a bit, and like I of course saw like when we were 2 for 3. क्या लगा था उस टाइम पे कि इंडिया बच पाएगी?
No,
Like, did you
to be
think?
honest, like Anukar's jokes aside, the thing was target was just 200 runs, which didn't make me too nervous about things
Understandable.
because we had Kohli and KL Rahul on the strike. Uske baad we were still going to have Jadeja,
Hardik Pandya,
Hardik Pandya, and Ashwin to come.
Ashwin.
So technically, batting we had enough batting to chase down at least 200. Things would have been different if the target would have been 250, 275. ऐसा
Or
target होता
300.
then I guess मैंने TV बंद कर दिया होता. But but apart from that, I guess the reason why we were not panic stricken was that there were two reasons. Mainly, target was relatively less, and secondly, वो 2 for 3 में one Kohli wasn't one of those three.
Yeah.
Luckily, so that kind of helped. And in the end, yeah, I knew that he's one of the greatest run chasers the cricket fraternity has ever seen. So it shouldn't be a problem if he would have stayed there for longer. If that Mitchell Marsh catch would have been taken, things would have been a different
Yeah.
story.
Definitely.
But
Roshan,
apart from that, yeah.
Roshan bhai, do you think Australia were a bit negative in their approach when it came to batting? I mean, I do understand the cautious approach when it comes to Indian spinners, but do you think like they were going a bit too slow even when they had two set batsmen on the pitch?
I just think it's a mental block for them. They don't know how to attack spin, and we had 3 quality spinners. So, and it's not like they could never get used to one, right? One's a left armer, one's a right arm off spin, and then you have a leg spinner. And so they never got a chance to settle in like, okay, I will play this player like that, and every ball coming at them is a little bit different. So I think historically Australians have done poorly playing spin. Probably they don't. Probably Steve Smith is the only guy who can play a little bit more spin than others. But
Yes.
again, so and the other problem is that they don't themselves have quality spinners. Like
Yeah.
Zampa is
I
way
think they
out.
missed Ashton Agar also, for
Yeah,
that matter.
And
yeah.
even Nathan Lyon is capable of playing one-day cricket, but he has been injured since the Ashes, so even he
Right.
wasn't able to take part. One of the
He's fit
reasons,
now. He's fit now. An
yeah,
Yeah, he
interview came
said
out in
that.
Times of India.
Yeah.
he is ready to come in if
I
required.
think he might come in because I don't
Yeah,
see Agar coming back. He's a
and I
series.
think Zampa is not at that level. He is
Yeah.
good enough, but
But it is very weird that even for it, like, see, every match matters, right? So if they knew that they were going to play India in Chennai,
yeah,
I would still plan for that because it's Australia have had good quicks. They have 3 good quicks. Add Mitchell Marsh and Cameron Green to the mix who can bowl. They have enough
Right.
bowling, at least enough
Yes.
fast bowling. They could have focused a little bit more. I feel like Todd Murphy could have gotten a chance because he
yeah.
bowled really well in India when India
India
played
played it.
Australia. Yeah.
Right.
And to be honest, Anukash, I feel like Australia might not have judged the pitch too correctly, if you
Yeah.
personally ask me. Yes, it wasn't that, typical 300, 320 kind of a one-day wicket, because in the end it's Chennai. Chennai is always going to play slow. But
Yeah.
I think they felt that even a total of around the way they batted, it felt like even a total of 230, 250 would have been good enough. But if they had played against any other team, let's say they had played against Sri Lanka or something, that might have been true. But coming up against a batting side like India, even
Mm.
if the pitch is a 250 pitch, you need to make 260 just to be safe.
Yeah. And the problem
Fair
is,
enough. Fair.
and the problem for Australia is that like India bats very deep. We bat
Yeah.
until Ashwin,
Yeah.
and Kuldeep can also bat a little bit
Hang
here.
around, yeah.
Yeah, so like
And they are
that
going to
was
have
not a
a
problem.
really, really poor start to the campaign because their second game is against South Africa, which are in some superb form. They already
No,
defeated them in the one day.
Australia did not have a good bilateral series with South Africa
Exactly.
either.
So and
So
and
Yeah,
the way,
neither will India for that matter. Like
yeah.
they barely won the last match.
yeah, but I'm happy that they have put in a, credit to Jaisha where it's due. उसने बीच में एक अफगानिस्तान का मैच डाल दिया just to make us prepared for that big game against Pakistan, because if there is any
Yeah,
unperforming batsman or someone, they can come back in form against Afghanistan, and then they can take that form.
I don't know if it is his decision because it's all
Zoe
computerized.
Payan is going to watch that match tomorrow with in Delhi.
Oh,
The India
nice.
versus Afghanistan one. Yeah, so
The
we
Delhi
might get to see him on the big screen. Yeah,
Yeah, the Delhi pitch is amazing. You saw it again with South Africa. Like
yeah, Sri Lanka.
if India win the toss and bat first, तो कल बारिश होगी runs की.
Yeah, I think Shreyas Iyer सारे जितनी भी है stat padding करेंगे. Surya Kumar Yadav might also get a look in that tomorrow.
Oh,
You
by the
know
way,
what?
Pakistan
I'll
have
tell you one thing, and I know it's slightly controversial, but someone on Twitter wrote, जब Sri Lanka का, I think it was Dasan Shanaka who was, just stat padding when they were kind of losing to South Africa, and someone wrote that reminds me of another subcontinent middle order batsman who just came in just for stat padding whenever we were in losing situations. And when people got after him that how can you say that about MS Dhoni, he was like, no, I was talking about Miss Paul Haq for that matter. So
Okay,
yeah.
well, we are
But
just
sir, where do you see England going in this World Cup? Like they played well today against New Zealand. Something really bad happened, you know. So
the
what do you
thing
think?
is,
Like,
the way in which they played against New Zealand is still like very fresh in my mind. Yes,
yeah,
they defeated Bangladesh, but it was kind of an expected win. The
yeah,
reason why I'm still a little skeptic about their chances of making into the semifinals are down to two reasons. One is that I still want to see them. We still haven't seen them play a proper side. They played against New Zealand, they got badly beaten because their bowling is not up to their level, up to the
hmm.
level which they had last time. They are missing the likes of Jofra Archer and all. Like, but then, and the another reason why I'm skeptic is because I think South Africa has really taken the ascendancy and have really like serious about their chances heading into this World Cup. They're like their middle order is stacked, their openers are stacked. But yeah, if the thing with England is on their day, if they make 380, then even if their bowling is bad enough, they are going to not they're going to defend that total. It's also, if England need to qualify for the semis, their batting has to click in each and every game, because personally don't see their bowling being good enough to help them defend 250 260 kind of scores. I think if they want to win, their batsmen have to give them at least 300 320 plus, in my
Fair
opinion.
enough. So before we wrap this up, Roshan bhai, I'll come to you here first. Your predictions for Liverpool versus Everton and your predictions for India versus Pakistan. That is going to happen soon.
Uh, and so let's do Liverpool, Everton 4-0. Everton
Okay.
is pretty bad this season. They're gonna get relegated, I feel.
But to be honest, they've found some good form of late. 3-0
Yeah.
against Bournemouth
Yeah.
and all.
Yeah. But it's Bournemouth, so
Yeah, in the end, yeah, true.
yeah, I think we will batter them. It could be a high scoring one, so it depends. I think if it's a 3-0 in first half, then could be a 4-0, 5-0 victory. That's what I'm looking at.
I think I personally would rather go with a safe bet, 3-0 victory, because in the end it's Everton, yes, but I always feel like they turn up when they face
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Merseyside derby. Yeah.
They are
Absolutely.
always resolute. They are tough to beat, regardless of what their form is. Like so many times, we have to rely on a late equalizer or a late winner to get past them, and
Right.
that recent memory is still there in my mind. So it won't be a straightforward win, but I think we have enough quality in our squad now that we can go into any match thinking we are formidable. Like that's that's my prediction.
Would you
And
like to take this question, Vatsal? Australia's chances in this
I
World Cup before
I'll
you wrap up?
I'll say that I for the time being, I'm sitting on the fence. I'll answer to Mr. Rahul Banerjee after their game against South Africa on Thursday. If you know
Fair.
Rahul Banerjee personally, give him my Twitter handle or my post में लिख देता
Yeah,
हूँ.
he works in our team. He
Oh,
does the excellent write-ups at all and all that comes on the FP page every now and then.
I've just written down my Twitter handle. If he wants to ask me after the game against, after the game against South Africa, because I think that game would skew my predictions towards the winner. If South Africa win, then I see them going into the semifinals a lot more easier than someone like
Hmm.
Australia. But Australia is like quality side, and I think Anukash, you would also agree we cannot take them lightly just because
Yeah,
we beat them comprehensively in one game.
absolutely. Absolutely. Don't agree
Yeah.
on.
And for
Anyway,
India
so,
Pakistan, I don't want to get lynched. So
Yeah.
obviously, no. I'm kidding. Obviously, India will win. There is no doubt about it. I
But
think I've seen clearly Pakistan's bowling is not up to that mark.
hmm,
If Sri
yeah.
Lanka can score 350 against them, our India
Did they
batting
win?
lineup. No, they
Is the
lost.
match?
just one.
Pakistan won.
Yeah.
But they got beaten. Like if you boast your bowling lineup with like Shaheen Afridi and Haris Rauf and all of these people,
Yeah.
you cannot restrict Sri Lanka below 300. I feel like
Yeah. True.
India batting lineup is much better than Sri Lanka. So Pakistan will have a rough day with bowling. But again, their batters are good, so India have to be really good in their bowling approach as well. So I feel like it will be a close win, maybe like 50-60 runs if India bats first.
I guess the thing is like football and cricket is so like so similar to me personally, because even Liverpool, yes, we have had some iffy results, but we feel confident heading into each and every game these days
Yeah.
because we have got some fantastic new players. And I think that's pretty much the case with Team India as well. Like regardless of who plays, like you can drop Shreyas Iyer and put in Surya Kumar Yadav and will be still good enough, if not
Yeah,
better, in
absolutely.
my opinion.
Right.
एंड दैट्स द
I
केस.
agree.
लाइक आप एक मैच के लिए एंडो को खिला लो या ग्रावेनबर्च को खिला लो, इट्स लाइक इन द एंड वी नो दैट इट्स स्टिल अ फॉर्मिडेबल टीम, एंड that's the way.
On that
Yeah.
positive note, I think that's a wrap. Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you, Roshan. Thank you, Vatsal. Always great having you. And I hope
Absolutely.
lots of wins come in for Liverpool and for Team India.
Yes.
And yeah, I would want to have, like, before we wrap this up, I would want to see an England versus India final just for Vatsal to, choose sides at that point of
Yeah.
time. Yeah, Vatsal.
But Vatsal
If
already has a shirt which is half India, half England.
no, I'm not that guy. I have an England jersey, which is another question, but
Or
but
Yeah.
or he will have like an
if
India shirt and the overall like niche ka track pants are England.
nahi.
Yeah, Vatsal, you want to say something?
Because what is the general amount of likes you get on a video like this?
Depends. Like our last watch along, it reached almost 1,000 views for
Okay.
that matter.
Okay.
And I think we can discuss that more in the post show. But yeah, like some of them get more like 100 to 300 usually. Like even on bad days, somewhere around that.
Let's keep the target a little low then. 30 likes on this live stream, and we will talk about the India Pakistan game if India win, of course, but we'll review that on this channel.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. What's that? Okay, Roshan. Thank you guys for joining in.
See you guys. Bye.
See you.